The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Prabhu, please kindly.
Hare Krishna.
Can hear you.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Gridari.
Okay, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu is going to start Kirtan now. Then Mataji will take off with the lecture.
Okay, fine. You can go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Respectful obeisances, Prabhu. Your speaker is muted, Prabhu. Your speaker is muted, so I cannot hear you.
Shivadaya Krishna Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastajari Siddhanta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining us all the way from Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria.
Yes, from Nigeria, Ghana, and some other places.
Ghana, Nigeria. Wonderful. All from West Africa. Great. And thank you. We're here in Sri Vrindavan, and we're going to sing together with all of you in West Africa. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're welcome.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, can anyone hear me? The sound of the kirtan is not coming out. Can we make an adjustment with this microphone over there?
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully. Device is ready to pair.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Nandakoti, Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chanting with us. We'll have Bhagavatam class right now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the kirtan.
Thank you. Thank
Quite
you.
unfortunate. Yes. Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I'm very new to this Zoom.
Yeah, my name is Alika Das. You're welcome. I'm your host for today.
I'm very grateful for the service. Thank you. Giridhari Puja. So, you know, I just realized without devotees, we cannot get engaged. So only the devotees can engage us. So thank you so much for this opportunity, actually. So I was given a verse. Before I start,
I'll need you to increase the volume a little bit so that it can be more audible.
How is it now?
Okay, better. Yes, closer now. It's better now.
So I was given a verse, Bhagavatam 1:838. Is it okay? Can you hear?
Yeah. I can put it on the screen if you want to start. Tradition is that we chant Prabhupada's Jai Radha Mad. We play Prabhupada's Jai Radha Mad.
We should do that.
But we've done the kirtan. If you want to go ahead, I can just put the verse up.
So what do you want? Should we chant Jai Radha Madhava or?
Okay, let's play Prabhupada Jai Radha Mad. Then we can start.
Play Prabhupada Jai Radha Madhava. Okay.
Yes, I'll do that. Yeah. 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 Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Fana Janes Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, are we ready?
So, yeah, we really, I can put this verse for the day on the screen so that you can start.
Yes. Yeah. So, do we do it like a usual class? People are going to repeat, or just do it once?
You take your decision on that.
Okay, so before starting, I'm going to offer my respectful obeisances to my Gurudev. Namo Vishwale Krishna Vishwade Vishwade Tava Vishwade Swami. Namo Vishwale Krishna Vishwade Vishwade Bhakti Swami. Namaste Saraswati Gauranga Vishwade Nivishwade Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radhika Radha Shri Vasudeva Gauranga. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Om Guru Chandra Shri Krishna Shri Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 38. Kevayam namarupabhyam yadubi sahapandava bhavato darshanam yarhi rishikana miveshitu. I'll do it one more time. Kevayam namarupabhyam yadubi sahapandava bhavato darshanam yarhi rishikana miveshitu. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Superb, by His Divine Grace. Kunti Devi is quite aware that the existence of the Pandavas is due to Shri Krishna only. The Pandavas are undoubtedly well established in name and fame and are guided by the great king Yudhishthira, who is morality personified. And the Yadus are undoubtedly great allies. But without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities. As much as the senses of the body are useless without the guidance of consciousness. No one should be proud of his prestige, power, and fame without being guided by the favor of the Supreme Lord. The living beings are always dependent, and the ultimate dependable object is the Lord Himself. We may, therefore, invent by our advancement of material knowledge all sorts of counteracting material resources. But without being guided by the Lord, all such inventions end in fiasco. However strong and stout the reactionary elements may be. So I will read the verse again. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. So just to put things in context, these are part of the prayers of Queen Kunti, yeah? So the chapter started with, they all went to the banks of the Ganga, offering the last rites for the dead. And also, it's not in the Bhagavatam, but we know from the Mahabharata, that's when Queen Kunti also reveals that they should do the last rites for Karna. And Yudhishthira asks why. And Queen Kunti says, well, because he's your elder brother. And King Yudhishthira was even more afflicted. Already so many people died before because of him. And now his brother, who knew he was his brother, he was the elder brother, but nobody else knew. He had his brother killed. So it starts with this, and then it proceeds along with Uttara being attacked. Krishna gets ready to mount his chariot. He's going back to Dwarka, and Uttara comes running. Uttara is the wife of Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas. The son of Arjuna. And she's carrying the grandson of the Pandavas, Parikshit. And she comes running to Krishna and she says, this iron arrow is pursuing me at great speed. Please protect me. Even if I am burnt to ashes, it doesn't matter. Oh Lord of the universe, please protect my embryo. And according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Sarata Darshini, Ashwatthama released 5 arrows together with the 1 arrow to destroy Parikshit. He had released 5 arrows to destroy the 5 Pandavas. Technically, he was a commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army still. And as you know, we all know, Duryodhana was defeated. He was on the edge of that lake, and Bhima had smashed his thighs, and he lay dying, and he was almost blind by the end. And when Ashwatthama went looking for him, he finds him, practically speaking, his last breath. And as he's dying, Ashwatthama looks at him and he's very sorry. And he says, oh, great king, I will be the commander-in-chief of your great army. And so Duryodhana is very happy. And he takes water from the lake. He bathes Ashwatthama's head to anoint him as the commander-in-chief. So technically speaking, the battle was still on. As long as the commander-in-chief of the opposing army challenges, the battle is still on. And so Duryodhana tells him, if you want to please me, bring me the heads of the 5 brothers, which of course we know he doesn't. He brings the heads of 5 children. And Duryodhana dies heartbroken because he realizes there's no heir to the throne. So Ashwatthama, any evil had inhabited his heart. So he thought of destroying the 5 Pandavas like that by sending 5 Brahmastras. And Krishna knows only a Brahmastra can counter another Brahmastra. You cannot, even though it says the 5 Pandavas picked up their weapons, readying themselves to fight the Brahmastra coming at them, Krishna knew it would take time to even release 1 Brahmastra, to speak of 5 and 6 for the embryo. So Krishna manifested his Sudarshan Chakra, which burnt the Brahmastra and nullified the Brahmastras. And he personally entered the embryo of the womb of Uttara to protect the embryo. We know that. So just to put in context, to what extent Krishna will go to protect his devotees, and how come these prayers start? Because now, Uttara's son was saved. So Krishna is ready. He's on the chariot. He's ready to go. and everybody surround him. It's like their life is being taken away. They don't want him to go. And that's when Queen Kunti starts his prayers. And now it's not only prayers of, you know, we rely on you, you're the one who protects us. We can see from the previous verses how Queen Kunti has a detailed knowledge of who Krishna is. For instance, he talks about the pastimes of Krishna. The verse doesn't come to mind. What's this verse of Vasudeva? Yeah, it's in the Bhagavatam. Anyway, let me just look for it. It's the previous verse. Which one it is? Sorry, I normally know the verses, but because I'm in front of a screen, I'm really nervous. Oh, okay, it's coming here. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. He knows who Krishna, she knows who Krishna is. It's not just he, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is here to protect us. No, she has this personal knowledge of Krishna. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, Nanda Gopakumaraya, and Govindaya Namo Namaha, the enlivener of the cows and the senses. She knows who this Krishna is. She knows him personally as a person. It's very interesting because Prabhupada says we should try to get to know Krishna. It's very important to try to get to know Krishna. Why is it so important to try to get to know Krishna? Because you know the way we are, like Prabhupada also says, we are so small. We are 1/10,000 part the tip of the hair, so we are invisible. But see how big this material body is. So how much more it is compared to the soul, and covered by this dull body, we become dull. So our potency as spirit soul is suppressed. And so that's why Prabhupada says we have to get to know Krishna. It means to break through this physical and mental body to understand who Krishna is. And he says we can understand Krishna from Krishna himself, because he talks about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. And the reason why we have to try to know Krishna is because why would we love someone we don't know? How can we surrender to someone we don't know? So up to now, whatever we do is basically for ourselves. Like Krishna says, what kind of people come to me? In distress, curious, in search of money, or in knowledge. So we are either one or a combination of those four, or two, or three. So as long as we stay on that platform, is about I, me, and mine. It's not wrong, but we should try to, I mean, it depends on what we want also, right? What is our goal? If our goal is to be part of Krishna's family, then it's a process. And that process is abnegate the body. And that's the process. So Queen Kunti, when she's talking about Krishna, she knows this person. The person is alive, which means when we read the book, when we're reading these verses, like the following verse is Nama Pankaja Navaya, Nama Pankaja Maline, Nama Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangaye. See the words that she
Hare Krishna. Okay, I think she's coming back.
India is yeah, we were cut off. I think. It's all. Yeah, I mean, normally India is a difficult place. Vrindavan is not part of this world. It's even more difficult. So let's hope it stays. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So we were talking about, look how Queen Kunti describes Krishna. Your abdomen is marked with a depression, which is like a lotus flower. And you are always decorated with garlands of lotus flower.
I think Mataji is having some network challenge. Let's be patient. Hare Krishna. I think we'll just play some bhajan for a moment to wait for Mataji to come back.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
नवगौरवरं नवपुष्पसरं नवभावधरं नवलस्य परं नवहास्यकरं नवहेमवरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नवगौरवरं नवपुष्पसरं नवभावधरं नवलास्य परं नवहास्यकरं नवहेमवरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत.
Hare Krishna. Mother, I think I can see you online. Your mic and video is muted. Can you hear me, Mataji? Okay, I think the technical, but I can see that she's online. Is good, Ganga Prashad Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, are you able to connect with anyone over there? I don't know what's going on, but I think she's having a network problem. She's off the line again.
Okay, I'll try something.
Yeah, they are coming and going, so I'm sure they are having a network challenge.
Network is a little bad today, even me as I'm here. I'm using two gadgets.
Yeah, I saw that you
Oh,
came in.
Sadhika Prabhu, Hare Krishna, it's Keshava here. I can hear okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu Keshava.
I can hear okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, good. Okay, I think we'll just hear some bhajan while we wait. I hope she's able to come back. Or else I'll bring her Srila Prabhupada's lecture on this test, and then we can listen to that. Let me search for that while we wait.
नव प्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं नवधाविलसशुभ प्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नवप्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं शुभप्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् हरिभक्ति परं हरिनामधरं करजाप्यकरं हरिनाम परं नयने सततं प्रणयाश्रुधरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं हरिभक्ति परं हरिनामधरं करजाप्यकरं हरिनाम परं नयने सततं प्रणयाश्रुधरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् सततं जनता भवतापहरं परमार्थपरायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं सततं जनता भवतापहरं परमार्थपरायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगदापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् निज भक्तिकरं प्रियचारुतरं नटनर्तन नागर राजकुलं कुलकामिनि मानसलास्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरं निजभक्तिकरं प्रियचारुतरं नटनर्तन नागर राजकुलं कुलकामिनि मानसलास्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरम् करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवादसुवीनकया मधुरं निजभक्तिगुणावृतनाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरं करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद्यसुवीनकया मधुरं निजभक्तिगुणावृतनाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुतगौरवरम् युगधर्मयुतं गुणनन्दसुतं धरणेषु चित्रं भवभावचितं तनुध्यानचितं निजवासयुतं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं युगधर्मयुतं गुणनन्दसुतं धरणेषु चित्रं भवभावचितं तनुदानचितं निजवासयुतं प्रणमामि शचीसुतं गौरवरम्
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna devotee. So I'm sharing Prabhupada's lecture on this same verse for today.
Om Namo
It's just that it's audio.
Vasudevaya. Ke Vayam Nama Rupabhyam Yatuvi Saha Pandava Bhavato Adarshanam Yarhi Rishikanam Iva Ishito Kevayam Namo Rupabhyam Yadubi Sahapardava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Shikanami Veshitu Ye Kevayam Namo Rupabhyam Yadubi Sahapardava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Shikanam Niveshitu Devayam Namo Rupabhyam Yadupi Sahapandava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Shikanam Niveshitu ability. Yaduhi with the Yadus. Saha along with Pandava and the Pandavas. Bhavata your Adarshanam absence. Yarhi as if Rishikanam of the senses. Eva like Ishitu of the living being. Translation. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and the Yadus, will end at once.
So, this is the case not only with the Pandavas, but every one of us. When somebody dies, big man, big scientist, big politician, big philosopher, when he is dead, the big name, here is Mr. Nixon, here is Mr. Isaac Newton, this is name. Uh, Nama Rupa Vyam. Nama means name and Rupa means form. So long we are living, our name, our fame, our form, our activities are glorious, very good. And as soon as the life is gone, nobody cares. It is lump of matter. That's all. Now, when one is living, a big man, nobody can go before him or touch him. There are so many gods. The same man, when he is dead and he is lying on the floor, if somebody kicks on his face, nobody will. So you should understand this, that after the disappearance of the body, and so this so-called big name, big name, important body, there's no value. And what is that soul? The soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, our energy of Krishna. So when the energy is withdrawn, or Krishna is not there, the energy, Krishna's energy and Krishna is no difference. Shakti, Shakti Matayo, Aveda. Just as the sun. Sun is the Shaktiman, energetic. And the sun sign is the energy. So long the sun sign is there, the sun is there. There is no difference. When the sun is not there, the sun's energy is also not there. Similarly, Krishna, so long Krishna is within us, within this body. Krishna's energy, there are two things that always. The Mayavadi philosophers, they do not accept the energy. Simply, they accept the energetic, impersonal. No. We must accept the energy and the energy. Both. Shakti Parinam. Shakti means energy. By the energy, everything is going on. The energy is aloof, just like the sun. We can very easily understand. The example is just before us. The sun is there, the sun sign is there, and within the sun globe there is sun globe. But we, so-called scientists, we are studying the sun from 93 millions of miles away. And we are taking very pride that you are studying the sun. If you have studied sun, why don't you go there? Go there and enter into the sun planet. This is a material thing. And what we speak of spiritual thing. So, the sun sign is working because the sun globe is there, the sun god is there. Similarly, the material energy is working. This cosmic manifestation made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are the 8 ingredients of this material manifestation. So these 8 materials, elements, they're energy, separated energy. Vinna me prakriti ashtadha. And because the energetic is there, behind this energy, just like electric power, we are using electric power. But behind this electric power, there is the powerhouse and there is the engineer who is producing the power. The rascals, they do not understand. They simply see the power, but behind the power, there is the power maker, the source of power. They do not understand. Therefore, Krishna comes and says, I am the power maker. I am behind this power. Krishna personally comes because we have no eyes to see Krishna. Neither we can understand Krishna. He therefore comes. What time God, we are simply contemplating God. What is the form of God? God must be very old man because he has created millions and millions of years ago. Therefore, he must be very old man. This is our contemplation and we are going on. Therefore, God comes before you. Yes, see, what is God? He is so kind. Jada jada hi dharmasya plani bhavati bharati. So God comes here in his person. He leaves behind him his instruction, just like Bhagavad Gita. He leaves behind him his devotees who can explain. But still, we are so stubborn, we shall not accept. This is the foolishness. Mudha, they have been called. Mudha, rascals, fools. God is there, God's energy is there. If you cannot see God, you see God's energy. That's why if you cannot see the electric powerhouse and the engineer who is within the powerhouse generating the power. But you should understand, you are using electricity in so many ways. You are using a kitchen, you are using the floor, cleansing, using your chicken cleansing, and so many things you are using. Your tape recorder, everything in your country, especially everything electric. So one should inquire. That is intelligence. Where from this electricity is coming? So if you make research, that is intelligent research, they will find here is the electric power. And similarly, if you further study who is running on this power, you find a human being is not impersonal, is personal. The electricity is impersonal. Even the powerhouse is also impersonal. But the man behind the everything, that is a person. Therefore, God is person. Logical conclusion. How he can be impersonal? Impersonal has no brain. They, just like so many machines, now we have invented very wonderful machines. But the machine is not the brain. The operator is it. Why do they not understand? Therefore, Krishna says, Maya Dakshina Prakiti Ishuyati Sacharajanam. You are seeing the energy or the wonderful action and reaction of this material, that is cosmic manifestation. But don't think that they are working independently. No. I am here. So what is it difficult to understand? Or from example, you can understand how things can go on nicely without a nice brain behind it. Maya Dakshi, no? Krishna says further, Maya Tatavidam Satam Abhakta Murtina. Abhakta. Abhakta is also Murti, a form. It's like the sky. The sky is Abhakta, not manifest. But it has also a form, a round form. Without form, there is nothing. Everything has form. One is personal, that is also form. It's the ocean. And you will find the form, the big circle. That is also form. And you can see there is no form. So this formless Nirvishesha, you offer your prayer, Nirvishesha Sunnava. This is all foolishness. Zero, impersonal, all foolishness. Behind these impersonal features and so-called zero, form. That is Ishara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigra. Ishara is controller. The nature is not controlled. The real controller is Krishna. Ikshanu Rupamaki Jasacha Chestate Sha Parmashanti Dasa. Prakriti is the city, is Durga. So, he says that she is working under the direction of Govinda. How she is working? Just like shadow. You have got your hand, and the shadow is down. Your hand moves, the shadow moves. Similarly, the motion is set. This is scientific proof. Behind all these manifestations, there is a motion. And who set up that motion? Yesterday I was giving this example, just like shunting a big wagon in the railway line. One engine gives the motion, pushes one wagon, and it pushes another one. But. one can see. So motion giver is otherwise you can give very big name or very big form and dress. They're all useless. That is the expression. That we are very big. People say we are Pandavas. Similarly, uh, we have become famous. How? Because you are our friend. Uh, Krishna is the friend of the Pandavas. Krishna is the friend of Arjuna, specifically. Therefore, Arjuna is so great warrior. Yes, gigantic. Please, you know that what is the value of my son, Pandava? They are saying, oh, Pandavas are so big warriors and heroes. Similarly, Jadubi, Krishna took part in the Jadu dynasty. That is already explained. So Krishna has made famous the Jadu dynasty because he took his part in the family. Therefore, two words are in here, Jadubi, Sahapandava. Pandavas are famous and Jadu dynasty is also famous. Kevayam, what we are, what is our realm? Kevayam, Nama Rupa Jnana, simply the so-called name and so-called form. Otherwise, without you, it is all there's no over. People do not understand. He is very proud of having a nice body, nice name. I am American. I am Indian. I am this, surgeon. So what is this? German, American, Indian. A bogus name and bogus form. It is no value. Just make Krishna minus, everything is zero. Finish. This is fair, but people are so rascal, they do not understand this fact. Who can deny it? If the body, the American body and Indian body, a good name and big name, it has no consciousness, then what is the value? No value. Therefore, it is said that Bhagavad Bhakti Vihinasya Jati Japastapa Kriya Apranasya hi Dehasya Mandana Lokarati. So Krishna consciousness means consciousness is there. But this consciousness, what is this Krishna consciousness? This is Krishna consciousness. We have forgotten Krishna, therefore we simply say consciousness. Really, consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Because without Krishna, you cannot have consciousness. Therefore, the right name is Krishna consciousness, not consciousness. Right name is Krishna consciousness. Just like without sun, how there can be sunshine? Therefore, we say sunshine, not sign. Sunshine. Therefore, as soon as there is consciousness, it must be Krishna consciousness. If one makes Krishna minus, is a rascal. Is a rascal. Consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Shining means sunshine. Sunshine means without sun, how there can be sunshine? Similarly, consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Without Krishna, how there can be consciousness? How it can be Krishna consciousness? This requires little brain to understand. So the devotees, they have got brain. They understand. Just like Kunti. So what is the value of our? We are so big men, Pandava, Jadu. So what is the value? we admit, Kevayam, Nama Rupa, simply big name and big form. It's no bad. Bhavato Adarsanam, because Krishna was taking farewell, parting. So, regretting, Kunti, that you will go, so we cannot see you. Then if we cannot see you, then what is the value of our name, fame, disease? I mean, Bhavato Jarihi, Rishikana, Iva, Ishatu. It is exactly like the senses. Now we are after sense enjoyment. The material world means sense enjoyment. But without Krishna or without Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of sense enjoyment. The senses are there. We have got big hands, big legs, and everything big. But when there is no Krishna consciousness, even you cannot utilize this. Rishikana. Rishik means senses. Therefore, intelligent person, he knows that my senses without Krishna has no value. That is devote. Therefore, so long my senses are active, it may be used for Krishna. That is bhakti. Right conclusion. Because without Krishna, these senses have no value. Therefore, there is some intimate relationship with my senses and Krishna. That's a fact. Because without Krishna, what is the value of your senses? Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to use the senses for Krishna. Just like the property of somebody should be used for him, not for others. I have given this example many times, perhaps you may remember. Suppose here is the assembly and there is $100 note is there, fallen from somebody's pocket. So, if I take or you take the $100 note and put here in the pocket, so here is $100 note, then you are a thief. Because that $100 note does not belong to you. You are taking it without his information. That means you are a thief.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
And another is that one thing, why shall I touch you?
Okay, Hare Krishna.
1 second.
Yeah, greet Hare Puja. Mother is
Just
there.
1 second.
Mother is available now?
Yes, she is.
Okay. I'm not seeing a video, but she can continue. We're listening to Srila Prabhupada while she was away.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
You're welcome.
You know, it's a strange year this year anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it means to be in the material world.
And it will not get easy. It never will get easy. Krishna doesn't want it to be easy. So I'll just continue where I left off.
Okay, Mataji.
So we were talking about, so Krishna is ready, getting on his chariot, and Queen Kunti starts her prayers. And she's describing Krishna, the person Krishna. And we have to understand something. When she describes Krishna as the son of Nanda Maharaj, the son of Vasudeva, and how he looks, even the pastimes of Krishna, we hear of Krishna, we study, we learn that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But like Krishna, Queen Kunti says in one of the prayers, you are feared by fear personified, yet you are scared of your mother. For us to understand that, it is not easy at all. Because like Prabhupada says, most of us, we are Dr. Frog, in the sense of we will compare everything that we hear to our experience, which is normal. Like Dr. Frog, right? His friend comes and says, I saw the Pacific Ocean. Big. How big? 10 times bigger? 100, 1,000. Come on. 10,000 times bigger than my well. That's what the Pacific Ocean is. So that's what we are. We constantly do that. But when Queen Kunti says, you are fear by fear personified, yet you are afraid of your mother, that Krishna who is afraid of his mother, it's a real fear. Otherwise, his mother would have known he is playing a part. Krishna wasn't playing a part. He was really afraid of his mother. Nara Lila. That's why it's very, very hard to understand. Extremely hard to understand. But without understanding or trying to understand, I don't know, maybe we'll never understand. But we can try to understand this person, Krishna. And then when we surrender to him, it's meaningful. It's not about us anymore. And just before where we come to this verse, where Queen Kunti says, if you go away, we will be like senses without consciousness. What does that mean? It's like a dead body. In the dead body, everything is present. It's there. But because consciousness is not present, what is the use of the senses? So us, Pandavas and the Yadavas, everybody, what is their use if you are not there, Krishna? We will be just like that. And then that's when she comes with her heartfelt prayers. If to see you, we need to be in danger all the time. So let calamities come again and again, because seeing them means seeing you. Right now, I think we, all of the world, we are going through something like that a little bit, where we are helpless. And if we are, we have the nature of devatas, what do we do? In circumstances when we are helpless, we take shelter of God. When we are not devatas, we are asuras, what do? We plan and we make our own arrangements. That's what we do. So when Queen Kunti prays, let calamities come again and again, because seeing these calamities means seeing you, O Lord of the universe. She knows that the only way we can see Krishna is from the helpless condition. If we are not feeling helpless, we still take shelter of our plans, of little ideas that we have, how to make ourselves progress, be comfortable. As long as we have that, and we're not 100% fully dependent on Krishna, Krishna will not give himself to us. It will be very difficult. Prabhupada says in one lecture, even a pinch of material desire, we will have to come back. So full surrender is from this helpless condition. And we cannot create this helpless condition ourselves. It's not possible. So who puts us in this helpless condition? It's Krishna. When we become serious, when we become sincere, when we really desire to be part of his family, to one day be used by him as he desires, then he takes charge. And how does he take charge? Normally we have this idea, right? When we grow up, even Judeo-Christian, even Hindu religion, is when God favors us, then he makes everything easy for us. But here Krishna says, when I favor someone, especially when I'm inclined towards someone, I give the person trouble. That's the way Krishna brings us closer to him. That's a cleaning process. trouble after trouble, where we eliminate what is not needed, what is meaningless, so that all that is left at the end is my connection with Krishna, is I, Atma, and Krishna, that relationship. And if we take that, what Queen Kunti is saying, that verse, that calamity is coming again and again, we can see that reflected in Chinara Pistuni Chena from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in a humble state of mind. The humble state of mind comes when we know there is nothing that we have that has any meaning. Prabhupada says in one lecture, we are dealing with Krishna. What is the value of our things? What is the value of what we offer to him? It's all his. And Prabhupada, he says, if we listen to that lecture, it's very, very deep, actually, very poignant. His voice even breaks. And Prabhupada, he says, we approach Krishna. We say, oh Krishna, I have come to you today. Please accept what I am offering you. I am most rotten, most fallen. And Prabhupada's voice breaks. Almost he cries. He said, we're dealing with Krishna. We have to be very, very careful. So Chunara Pisunichana is from that helpless platform where we know ourselves. So going back, we go back to the first verse of the Shikshashtakam. Chitta Dharpana Marjana. Even that first part of that first verse is so full of layers. Chitta Dharpana. Chitta is consciousness, Dharpana is mirror. Marjanam is cleaning. So cleaning the mirror of the consciousness. Now we try to understand that this is nothing random here. It's not something that has been haphazardly put together. Why mirror? Because mirror implicates reflection. So the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is cleaning the mirror of the consciousness. The reflection of what? Who? First reflection is I, the Atma. And that reflection is, I am 1/10,000 part, the tip of the hair. Nothing great. And because I'm so small, I pull out my hair and the root, which is like a bulb, I divide into 10,000 parts. Who can see that? Even the microscope of a scientist cannot see that. Maybe they can, so small. And because I am so small, my service will be naturally smaller than my size. What is the value of my service? So when I see myself, and then immediately as I see myself, I see my connection. Mamai avamsha jivaloke. We are all angsha of Krishna. That's what Krishna says about it. Mamai avamsha jivaloke. Jiva, Buddha, Sanatana, all these living entities, they're eternal, but they are my eternal parts and parcels. Mana Shashta Indriyan, struggling very hard with the mind and the six senses. And all this, there's a process after this. It is not something that we wake up one day and suddenly it's just kind of manifests. The process he's been given by Srila Prabhupada, right? In one conversation, he tells the devotees, in the beginning, I did not tell you the philosophy because I knew you would not understand. In the beginning, I just told you, chant Hare Krishna, because I knew that if you chant, the cleaning process starts, and then you can understand. So we have, sometimes we take it for granted, this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We don't understand how powerful this is. And it is especially powerful because it is the Yuga Dharma. But again, what Prabhupada says, because we are covered with this dull matter, we are suppressed. Chanting Hare Krishna should be bringing tears to our eyes, should be revealing. When we read the Bhagavatam, when we read, for instance, the prayers of Kunti, it should be alive. We should feel it. It's not ink on page. It's not dead. It's real. So It starts with the chanting. It starts with what the Acharya has given us. It starts with this chanting. It starts with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We cannot underestimate that. We cannot underestimate Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Why? Because the real work on the platform of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is Anartha Nivritti. Without this Anartha Nivritti, we cannot form connection to Krishna. It will be very, very hard. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote a book called Prakriti Sata Rasa Sata Dushani. Prakriti Sata Rasa Dushani. It means the 100 verses against Prakriti Sahajas. And one of the verse is, first is Anartha Nivritti, then it's Rati, and then is Bhava, Prema. So first is Anartha Nivritti. And if we look at the Shikshashtakam, we can somewhat understand that. Yeah, we understand that first verse is explaining the glories of the holy. You know, cleaning process, extinguishes the fire of conditional life, Bahamavadavagni. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It enables us to taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. That's what the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does. But the second verse, Nanam Akari Bahudanta Samshatas. You have hundreds and thousands of names of Krishna, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for any one of those names. This is us. You see, spiritual life is real. It's not a theoretical aspiration. It's not that I read the books and I see what are the symptoms of a great devotee and I try to emulate those symptoms. It's not that at all. Spiritual life is from the platform of reality. Where am I? What are my attachments? Queen Kunti, she is talking about, let calamities, full surrender. Because the calamities that came to them, because they were helpless, they had to fully surrender. And when we understand what that is, we start to see inside of ourselves. What is my weakness? What is my failure? How many times did I actually fail? I make promises I cannot keep. I fall down. Maybe no one knows my mind. I am the only one who knows. But I can pretend very well. If I can see myself and I recognize what I'm doing, it's already great. And I can recognize that I am helpless to change. If I can recognize this helplessness, I can start to chant Hare Krishna in a helpless state of mind because I have no control. We also have to understand bhakti is not a religious process. It's Krishna who is willing to give himself, but not cheaply, right? We have to earn that. But we have to start with the platform of honesty. Otherwise, where do we go? We cannot go anywhere from a platform of pretension. And the most important thing is Krishna will give himself if he wants. We may be practicing for many, many years, but see nothing, find nothing, and still see all our anarthas. And if this is what Krishna wants, we accept it. Causeless. It's not so easy to be a devotee. It's easier to be a pious person. Because with piety, we can see results. With being a devotee, sometimes it's hard to see personal results. But then, how do we know there is a reciprocation? We know there's a reciprocation when we do not see results, but we still hang on to Krishna. Why do we still hang on to Krishna? It's because there is a reciprocation there. Not the way that I envision it, but there is a reciprocation. There's one lecture of Prabhupada, it's a bit heavy. He says, and if you go away from devotional service, it's not because you want to go, it's because Krishna doesn't like you anymore. That's kind of heavy to hear. But this path is very individual. At the beginning, we all go through it, like a mass purification, especially if we join the temple. That's what happens. But after a while, it becomes a very individual, unique path that we tread. There's no equation that I'm going to put my name in that equation and the result is that. It's never like that. It's never been like that. It will never be like that. It's 10 to 5. I know we were cut off for a long time, but I would like to have some sharing, some of you, if you can share your realizations, your sentiments, would be very, very grateful. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Madhava, for the wonderful presentation and the class. Yeah, we appreciate your coming. Our devotees, there are no questions and up yet, but I have a question. While you were away, Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture on this verse and was talking about the importance of the consciousness and actually how consciousness is Krishna consciousness, because consciousness has no meaning without Krishna. And you also mentioned about this consciousness while you were explaining the verse, that the importance of the living entity is Krishna. So, but sometimes we see that having taken this material body, we know philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Somehow or the other, we still get carried away. So what will you suggest will be the constant reminder for one who actually, for one to be consciously, always conscious of Krishna?
That's a question that is plaguing everybody in this material world. It's not only one person's problem, it's all of us, our problem, it's the same. And the symptom of pure consciousness is mentioned in, consciousness actually is Atma. This Prabhupada also mentions in one lecture. The symptom of a living body is consciousness, and he says consciousness is that Atma, is a soul. And the soul has, when the soul is in its pure state, it has 3 qualities: serenity, clarity, and freedom from distraction. And we are not serene, which means calm. We're not really clear because we're always confused. And we are not free from distraction, definitely not. The only thing that works is trying to sincerely chant Hare Krishna. Look, it looks so simple. It's hard to believe because we are doing it every day. But how do we do it? If we have ever tried to do a japa retreat, in the japa retreat, there is one day where we have to chant something like 50 rounds or something. And we, every day we hear how to try to control the mind, what the mind is, what is happening with the mind, and how to try to link the hearing with the mouth, with the speaking. Between the hearing and the speaking, we sandwich the mind so that it doesn't go everywhere. So if we have ever done that, I did that once, to chant one good round, constantly hearing, it takes so much energy. After the one round, it's like you have run 100 kilometers. It's so exhausting because every time the mind goes, bring it back, bring it back. It is so difficult. That's our work. Once we are able to do that, nothing will matter. It won't matter. We can try. Maybe I should be reading more Krishna. Maybe I should be reading more Leela. maybe I should be doing this. In one talk about Srila Prabhupada, Ansaduta, he says, Prabhupada once asked him, do you know why I have written all those books? And Ansaduta Prabhu said, for us to read Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, it's for you to chant Hare Krishna. And if you're not convinced of that, then all this reading is useless. I mean, really, did we digest that to really understand that? What it is to chant Hare Krishna? What it is, because chanting Hare Krishna is being face to face with Krishna. How many of us can say we are face to face with Krishna and we chant? Then what is that? All of them are discerned to me, and we want them accordingly. You see, it's an individual path. There is no equation. We have to put the effort. We have to try. The trying starts very basic. There's nothing miracle that we will try today and like that. I will be remembering Krishna every second of the day. It's not going to happen. It's going to start with the chanting.
Thank you very much, Mr. G. I have another question from Dr. George Amiga. Dr. George, please can you unmute yourself and then ask a question?
Okay, yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mother. Thank you very much. Okay, my question is, Srila Prabhupada said we should chant and be happy. And here, Mother Kunti is saying that in times of calamities, then we can see your face again and again. So my question is, if we should chant and be happy, and here again, in times of troubles, then we can see the face of Krishna. Is it not contradictory? Because we should chant and be happy. And whereas Mother Kunti also is saying, in times of calamities, then we can see the face of Krishna. And I would like to know also, does that mean in times of happiness, you cannot see the face of Krishna also? So that is my question. Hare Krishna, Mother.
You've heard of Mother Jamuna, right? The one who left. Jamuna, who was disciple of Srila Prabhupada, the cook. What?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm here.
You've heard of her.
Please
so
no.
We stayed 3 days with her before she left her body. She was one of the very, very first disciples of Prabhupada. She came to Srila Prabhupada when her sister was getting married. The first girl who joined the movement was her sister. And Prabhupada engaged her to cook. And she told us, Prabhupada said, chant and be happy, but he actually tricked us. Because what happens is when you start chanting, so you see, if we go back to the first verse of Shikshashtam, Chetu Dharvana Marjana, what is being cleaned? The mirror of the heart. What is the implication there? Is mirror glorious to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated. What is the dust? The dust are impressions that we take from countless of lifetimes in this material world. Can we count dust? No. So that's how much covered we are. And when we start chanting Hare Krishna, it starts to agitate the dust. And the dust is what is those problems that we encounter. And if we want to be close to Krishna, he uses those problems to bring us close to him. He says himself, Brahma Bhuvana Loke, this material world, from the topmost Brahma's planet down to the lowest. What is it? It's a place of misery where there's birth, death, old age, and disease. So happiness would mean, I know the way to get out of here. It's not happiness through this body that I see. It's happiness of me, I the soul. This body will never make me happy. It grows old, it gets disease, it gets COVID, it dies. And it's full of suffering. There will never be happiness through this body. Never. So the happiness that's being talked here, chant and be happy. It's a happiness of I, the soul. I start to uncover who I am. And when I realize that, what do I have to do in this material world? Nothing. I am Sat Chitananda. Does it make sense to you? Bhakta.
George Omega.
Yeah, Mother, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any other hands up. Maybe I may want to ask one other question, Mataji. In the text that we're reading today, Srila Prabhupada said, there's a place I want to refer to. Prabhupada said that the Pandavas are undoubtedly very well established in name and fame and are guided by the great king, Yudhishthira, who is morally personified, and the Yadus are undoubtedly great allies. But without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities. That is the point I wanted to refer to. Without Lord Krishna's guidance, all of them are non-entities. Now, Lord Krishna has given us instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
But we know from the practical reality that it is very difficult because sometimes we want to relate these instructions to our physical present experience. And of course, yes, we talked about Krishna being represented by the spiritual master. But then spiritual master is not there. Sometimes he's not on the
Know that
physical
the spiritual master is representation of Chaitanya Guru.
Yes.
That's why we go back to Prabhupada, who says, because we are so dull, we cannot hear him. We should be able to hear him. When we cannot hear him, he comes out from the heart and he is present before us. The spiritual master is one, he says. Do you understand what it means? Guru is one. Guru is one in principle, meaning one. When we are connected, the whole line of parampara is open to us. It's not only the one spiritual master, we're not Christians. Jesus is the only way. It's not that at all. We have Shiksha Guru, we have Diksha Guru. It's the same. There's no difference. Just that this Diksha Guru is very important to us because he connected us to the line. And that line also, after a while, they are revealed to us. So at one point, a mature devotee could feel even very close to Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because the writings resonate. And this is no contradiction there because that's what the spiritual master does. Prabhupada, how he calls the spiritual master? Transparent via media. We have to understand this word. Because he says also the Acharya does not use random words. The Acharya uses words that are meaningful. So the line is transparent, which means it's not blocked by anyone, not even by our guru. There's no block there. Transparent, via. Via is Italian, that means a road connecting 2 points. So it's transparent via media. Connect, it means communication. So the spiritual master gives us this communication with all the acharyas up to Krishna to understand. And if we need association, we can read, we can be associating with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It comes back to the same point. There is what is written by Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, or the other acharyas in our line. It's not dead ink on a page. It's real. Talks to us. We have to be alert and alive. And that alive comes from the Chetudharpana Manjana chanting. It comes back again and again to the same basic point. If we don't get that right, we won't get anything else right.
Thank you very much, Mr. D.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's just that
cut you off and then I didn't let you speak. It didn't make sense to you.
Yeah.
Or did you mean, did you want to do something else?
Yeah. I'm just trying to connect the reality with the remembrance of these instructions from this guidance, how to connect both when you are faced with the physical reality. Srila Prabhupada says, chant and stay high forever in the beginning days of ISKCON. And we've had this philosophy, we've understood the process. We know that Krishna is not absent at any time. Mother Kunti here is lamenting. Her lamentation may be different from ours because she is lamenting based on realization, because you understand this is Krishna.
And also,
in our case,
yes, continue.
Yeah, in our case, when we are lamenting the absence of Krishna or the absence of the spiritual master, it's the same thing with Mother Kunti. So my question then is, how do we come to this connect?
When we lament mostly, it's because it's something that is not pleasing to us, that is not comforting us. It's not because we are still on the level where my senses are very important to me. So when my senses are lacking something, that's our lamentation. But like when Prabhupada says, for a devotee, it doesn't matter if they go back to Godhead or they stay in the material world. And I've heard it. And I've heard also devotees, not the time, that's what I learned. I should not even desire to go back to Godhead because Prabhupada said that, and it doesn't matter because we're preaching mission. But it's not quite like that. The devotee who says it doesn't matter is a devotee who already has the choice. He's able to go back to Godhead. And if he chooses, he can stay here. I'm not able to go back to Godhead right now. So we should be coming. When Queen Kunti laments, she is already on the level where she's totally self-satisfied in the sense of she knows who Krishna is. And her lamentation is pleasure. Because her lamentation is, what is her lamentation? Let's understand that. She wants calamities to come again and again. Because when the calamities come, Krishna would come immediately. Because from the helpless cry, he cannot, whereas, why did he help Kunti more than he helped his own mother? Because that's what Kunti says also. I was more fortunate than even Devaki, your mother, because she lost all her sons, but her husband was still here. Even though she lost all her sons, she had a dynasty behind her. Kunti had nobody, not even Bhishma. Nobody really was supporting her. She had no husband. And they tried to kill her again and again. Her sons being burned in the house of black, up until the last moment when Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhana, she looked at him, she opened her blinds, looked at him to make his whole body like iron, just so that he can kill Bhima. Krishna did not want that. So every time they cried out, oh, Lord of the universe, oh, Govinda, oh, Madhava, please. He came immediately. When they were during exile, and that was this kind of a small thing in a sense, Draupadi had already eaten, and Durvasa, when he comes with his 10,000 disciples, and there's only nothing left. She goes, what does she do? Oh, Krishna, please. Krishna appears immediately. There's the grain of rice there. Give it to me. He eats, they're all satisfied. Because that calamity that she wants, Krishna is there. But we are not there. For us, we cannot, if we suffer too much, we won't be God conscious. And Krishna knows that. We are not on that level. that lover of Krishna, the more they suffer, the more Krishna is away from them, the more they are close to Krishna. That's a union in separation that we always talk about. We don't understand that because we don't even know what it is to be, to go in a temple and see Krishna. We don't even understand that. So we have some time, and if Krishna desires, we can know it in a second. If he desires, all we have to do, Prabhupada says, but Prabhupada quotes Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, do not try to see Krishna. Tash Vishanavadi, na bhavet graham indriya, with these material senses, we cannot see Krishna. So don't try to see Krishna, but act in a way that Krishna sees you. That acting is his desire to make it right, desire to be in the mission, desire to tell as many people as possible. Look, we don't have to rot in this material world. There's a way out. And it's not even to the heavenly planets, forget that. You will have to come back again. No, where life is eternal, where you can be Sat, Chit, Ananda. You're eternal, you're always right with whatever you talk, because you're full of knowledge, and you're full of happiness.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have another question from Ganga Prasad Prabhu. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, please kindly unmute and ask a question.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank
Krishna.
you very much for your resilience and doggedness to give this message. Even with all the challenges, you still put your feet down that you do this service. We are very grateful. I am very excited by the concepts of the text we are reading and how you relate it with the Shikshastakam, the first, the third, and I'm also adding the fourth. Nadanam Najanam Nasundari. So I want to have a reconciliation in text number 26 of this same. Kunti is saying, your lordship can easily be approached only by those who are materially exhausted. And in course of your speaking, you mentioned about the Chetodapana as cleansing. So if we are materially exhausted, then what is the use of our body if we cannot maintain it with the necessities or the basic needs? We are cleansed of all material desires, and we still have this body, and then we are going to get Krishna. So how do we reconcile these two? That is my question.
The body, first of all, doesn't belong to us, right? And it's a means for service. And materially exhausted, we have to also understand what it means. It doesn't mean that now I don't need anything. I'm going to go and live like Lord Shiva with nothing at all. I mean, think about it. Kunti was a princess. What did she mean by materially exhausted? She was living in a palace. She had servants. She was eating the best of food. And even her sons, even before they were in exile, when they had their own palace in Indraprastha, Krishna was a guest for a long time there. He liked their association. He was the constant companion. So what does materially exhausted mean? It means whatever comes to me. This is what Prabhupada says, Yukta Vairagya. I use it for Krishna, but I have no aspiration for anything in this material world. But Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said something that went very deep in me, and I'm praying to come to that level. He said, there is nothing that I desire from this material world. Yet, he is one of the first sannyasis, the first sannyasi ever in the history of mankind to travel in an automobile. He wore leather shoes. He wore coats. He sent his disciples to England preaching. He called the British. He had made arrangement for them to stay in a hotel where meat could be served to them if they so desired.
The most important thing was what? The chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because that would adjust everything. So materially exhausted, we have to understand what it means. It doesn't mean that now I take all my belongings and I throw it out of the window. As long, like you say, as long as I have this body, the body has needs. And the needs of different people is different. We know from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, you know him, his story. When Gadadhar Pandit and Mukunda Datta went to see him. Mukunda Datta brought Gadadhar Pandit to see him. Gadadhar Pandit saw him for the first time. He was shocked. Now, Pundarik Vidyanidhi is sitting. His hair is well oiled, smelling very nice fragrant oil. He's wearing costly silks. All around him were big, huge water pots, shining. And when he would be talking to Gadadhar Pandit or Mukunda Datta, he was looking at his beautiful reflection in the water pots. Gadadhar Pandit said, "What is this materialist? Why am I here?" So what is materially exhausted? We have to understand that. For each one of us, it will be individual. It means my attachment, I give it away. And my attachment will not be the same as your attachment. It's a very individual path. Spiritual life is not a mass purification. So materially exhausted, one who is materially exhausted means there is nothing that I desire of this material world. My body is not that I'm killing it, I'm killing it socially. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur uses the term self-abnegating. What we tend to do, we tend to self-establish. Oh, my name is so-and-so, I join in so-and-so, and I do this, I, self-establishment. Self-abnegate. It's a very interesting word. He was very intelligent, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Self-ab is a German word. It means to take away from. So self, take away from the self, Atma, and negate. So what are we doing? Getting rid of the body. But it's a mental state. It's not that I'm going to murder my body now. It's a mental state.
Thank you.
It's layers. Prabhupada says it's a scientific, gradual scientific process. We just have to trust that. And it's revealed to us as time goes by. It makes sense to us. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much, Mother. I would want you to reconcile one concept. In this, if somebody says, oh, this abnegation, this material exhaustion is preaching poverty, what would be your response?
When you say, let's go to India and look at some of the Vaishnavas. Some of them are very rich. Once I went to the house of a Vaishnava in the 80s. All the Vaishnava family, they were very rich. They served us prasadam in silver plates, solid silver plates. And behind each one of us was one servant waiting to serve us. I mean, what can you do? If somebody thinks like that, then let them think. Everybody is free to think. But we're not preaching poverty. We are not preaching, why should we be preaching poverty? That's a very strange idea. Why should anybody preach poverty? This is so material. It's like we don't want to preach, it's like the materialist. All we do, let's go preach how to make money the best, the most money with the least amount of work. That's what the materialists say. That's what the materialists do. Now, if as spiritualists, so-called, we are starting to preach, okay, let's just give up everything. That's just the other side of the coin. We don't do that. Vaishnavism is, let's use everything in Krishna's service. My body, my house, my everything. And I do need some comfort. We have to be realistic. That is real. It's real, you know, it's not an idea. It's realistic. It's not theory. It's real. For some people, it might be, I want to be poor in the sense of I don't want to maintain too much. For some people, it might not be like that. It might be something else. For some people, they might not care. One day it comes, the next day it goes. There is no, yeah. If somebody would say you're preaching poverty, I would say, well, you know, that's your opinion.
Thank you very much for that. I'm grateful. And I think you have really nourished us. And like I said, I'm really excited with how you corroborate the text we are reading with Chetoda Panamajanam, Trinada Pisunichena, and Nadanam Najanam Sundarim. I'm very excited about it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I think we will end here, right? It's 5:20. What do you think?
If there's no any other question.
Yeah, Dr. George's hand is up, but if time is not favorable for you, then I think we'll postpone his question till next time.
What is it?
I'm saying that Dr. George Omega is coming back with that question. I don't know if you can manage it. If not, we'll just end of the class here.
No, you can answer your question.
Okay, Dr. George, please can we go ahead? Last question.
Okay, yeah. Thank you once again, Mother. I would like to know, currently the whole world is in calamity. I'm talking about this coronavirus, and it's claiming a lot of life. I mean, the devotees, for that matter, the pure devotees. And the devotees have been praying very fervently. But as at now, there is no solution. Or let's talk for the Lord to appear. So I would like to know, is it that prayers of the devotees are not fervent enough to attract the attention of the Lord? Last I asked this question, but the moment I asked the question, my network has been interrupted, so I couldn't get the answer. So now that the Mother Kunti is praying, that in times of calamity, the Lord appears. Devotees are praying very fervently for 1.5 years now, but yet no problem. Not quite long, the Holy Dam is being devastated with this same coronavirus. So I would like to know, is it that our prayers, or for that matter, the pure devotee, their prayers is not fervent enough to attract the attention of the Lord? Hare Krishna.
But you realize Queen Kunti is asking for calamities, right? So what are our prayers? Are we asking or telling Krishna to take it away?
Pardon me, Mother? I didn't hear you.
So wait, there is one lecture where Prabhupada says,
okay,
what if you put a gun to my head and you want to kill me, and then you decide not to kill me? Does it mean that I will not die? Does it mean that I will not die? He says, he speaks like that. And then his voice goes very deep. He says, no, it means that my death has been postponed. So you see, Prabhu, Janma Mritu Jara Vyadi, there's nothing surprising there. We are meant to die. And you're talking about devotees that have been suffered because of corona and died in the holy Dham.
Yeah.
But many also got the virus and did not die. So what about them? Those whose signs are up, their sign is up. We have to understand that. Who is death? Who is death? Mirtu Sarva Haras Shaham. I am all devouring death, is what Krishna says. So Krishna who is death, or the virus who is death?
Krishna.
Faith. It's our faith that's being tested. So what are we praying for? We are praying for let us not die. Is this really going to happen? Anybody believes this?
Okay.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
With the eternal, if we stay with the eternal element, which is Krishna, it makes sense to us. Everything makes sense.
Okay, brother. Okay, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll request all of the devotees to unmute now and loudly chant Hare Krishna to appreciate Mother for giving this class.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Patitanam Pavanam Beyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna.
Look forward to see you again.
Thank you very much for the
Ganga
opportunity.
Prasad ki.
And hopefully we can come personally one day to Nigeria.
Very good, very good.
Hare Krishna.
This is already one visit, but it's visual. This is already a visit because the chanting in the beginning is the main thing. Prabhu is going to come to Nigeria. That's Giridhari Puja's cherished desire that devotees come to West Africa and inundate it with the chanting of the holy name.
First time ever we're interacting with devotees from West Africa, actually. First time ever. We are.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo, Madhava Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the kirtan.
You look very effulgent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Two heads are shining. Mahaprabhu's head and your head is shining. Wonderful. What's your name, Prabhu?
Salika Das.
Sorry?
Salika Das.
Salika Das. Hare Krishna.
Salika
Das. Hare Krishna. Nice
Hopefully one
meeting.
day we are
Hopefully we can
personally.
come to Nigeria sometime.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward
West
to that.
Africa, a few countries there.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Ghosh Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sleeping. Both is sleeping.
Hari Bhakti Param Hari Nama Dharam Karajapya Karam Hari Nama Param Nayane Satatam Pranaya Shrudharam Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauragaram Bhakti Param Hari Nama Dharam Karajapya Karam Hari Nama Param Nayane Satatam Pranayashrudaram Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, devotees, for being there. So we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you for your understanding and tolerance.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a material world, so we have to learn to live here so that we can go there. Hare Krishna.